Alright, let's get started. I'm changing all my keyboard shortcuts, so I'm kind of getting used to this right now. Hang on. Alright. Showing you all the wrong things. Here we go. Alright, so today I'll be taking and finishing the EBRW section from the 2017 April School Day QAS. Oh. I'm going to turn off my music as well. So let's stop that. Alright, so today I'll be going over the 2017 April School Day QAS. And I will fucking punk rock. Oh, I'm not supposed to curse. But I will punk rock the 2017 April School Day QAS. I did the first 3 passages last time of the reading test under extremely sleep-deprived conditions. Today I'll be much fresher, but I think it's good to just see both sides. What happens when I'm taking too much time, whatnot. I deliberately kept my stopwatch at the same place that it was last time, so it's easier to track. Let me show you exactly where my stopwatch is. Okay, so I'm at, here, okay, I'm getting better at this shortcut thing. So that's my 39 minutes, okay, for the first 3 passages, which is not great. Okay, that's not where I want to be. Okay, so, my eyes. Okay, suddenly my contact lenses are acting up, and I'm also trying to get. I'm still trying to get used to this. Boom, boom, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. All right. So, and then here, 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. Awesome. My stream is gonna get upgraded with better transitions. Yeah, sorry for dilly-dallying. I'm not trying to dilly-dally. I'm just getting distracted with the fact that my contact lenses are hurting, and also, every time I press a button, the wrong thing happens. So I'm just a little disoriented right now. I will finish in this stream. I will finish the last 2 passages of the reading section. I'll try to keep it under 65 minutes. Okay, and then I'll be doing the 4 passages from the writing test as well. So the 2017 April School Day QAS, I should be able to do this all in 1 day. Okay, in 2 days. Day 1 was 2 days ago, and today I'll finish it. That said, because my eyes are hurting right now, I'd like to kind of fix up my contact lens situations. So if you guys don't mind, give me 1 minute to go to the restroom, wash this out, maybe switch it out with a different contact lens. Okay, be right back. Whoa. Okay, that was a little rougher than I expected. All right, I'm back. Now I'm about to actually properly get started. Oh. That kind of pooped me out, but I'm about to start like properly now. Okay, I just updated my Discord saying that I was about to start. Let's go into the test. With that, let's get into the gameplay. With that, let's get into the test taking. So I'm at 39 minutes and 40 seconds, which leaves me less than 13 minutes per passage. Okay. Basically, I want to be worst case scenario. I want to be at 40. Hang on. 43 minutes. 43 minutes. Worst case scenario, I want to be 43 minutes before the fifth passage. Okay, is that correct? For some reason, because 43 minutes plus. Oh no, sorry, 53. That's why. Okay, worst case scenario, I want to be at 53 minutes before the fifth passage. Okay, so that's the absolute worst case scenario. And the reason I'm so bad on time is because, like I said, the first three passages I did under extreme sleepiness. All right, I'm about to get started. Yeah, with no further ado, let's get started. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Boo! Pause. I need my Apple Pencil to like work. Okay, I'm just using my finger for now. Okay, it's working. I need to double check how much battery it has. So let me see. It's at 0%. Ah, annoying. Okay, guys. Super annoying. I'm gonna unplug and I'm gonna charge my thing for like 5 minutes. What a sloppy start. I need to like edit all of this out. So, you know what? I'm gonna pretend that I'm starting the stream now so that I could edit out the entire beginning when this actually gets uploaded. So, hey guys, today I'm gonna be doing the 2017 April School Day QAS. I already started this 2 days ago. I started this 2 days ago. When I was extremely sleepy. I did the first three passages and I think I got 0 wrong. Or did I get 1 wrong? I need to double check. I'll double check on my iPad while I'm charging my Apple Pencil. I got 0 wrong. I got 0 wrong on the first three passages. Except I had seen these passages at least once before. Or just once before, not at least once before, exactly once before. Several months ago, I didn't remember the second and third passages. I only remembered the first one, the literature one. Like I remembered what was happening on the first passage. The second and third passages, I kind of like vaguely recall like the nouns, but like I didn't remember I had no idea what the passages were gonna be like. I didn't know what to expect. Moreover, because I was extremely sleepy, the questions were not easy for me. I was like kind of processing slowly. And I didn't, for all three of the passages, even though I remember the first passage, for none of the three passages did I remember the questions. The questions they all felt more or less new to me. Okay, so this is still roughly accurate representation of how it feels like for me to take a test when I'm tired. Now today, I will be finishing the 2 passages remaining from the reading test and then moving on to the writing. Okay, so that will all be happening in the next hour and half or so. Between each passage, I will do Q&A where I will answer anyone's questions if they have any for this test. If you have questions that are unrelated to the test, I will also answer them as well. Just I might not give it as much emphasis. Okay, so if you do have questions, please type into the chat and we can work with that. Otherwise, just hold tight because I will not be paying attention to the chat while I am taking the test. I will be focusing on managing my time. Let me just double check how much my pencil has charged. It is at 16%, which is at least enough to get started. So I'm going to plug in my iPad and oops. Cool, yeah. And now we should be getting going. Okay. All right, I'm about to start time right now. Let me just think if there's anything I need to do. No, I don't think so. I think I can get started right now. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Patrick Henry, Pendleton, Virginia, ratifying the convention. Their proposal to the Constitutional Convention to replace the Articles of Confederation, national government. So one of these guys are going to be for the national government, and one of them are going to be for the the federation. Importance, urgency, disappointed. We're talking about the people who wrote the charter. A great consolidated government. And the danger is very strong. I actually don't remember this passage at all. Interesting argument. Wow, interesting argument. We have veneration, but they are not authorized. And here is the danger. We talked about this danger at the very first line. We have no guidance. We don't even know where we're going. Difference of opinion has gone to inflammatory resentment, different parts, okay. This innovation of the national government. They should have amended the old system. They shouldn't have innovated it. They were delegated for this one purpose only. He's being humble. What is the danger of the present confederation? So basically, he doesn't have a strong argument. He's just urging caution. Right, uneasiness. Right. Okay, that's the direct rebuttal. Okay, this is a different power of the convention is added. The member of the convention were to consider all the defects. Common danger were the bonds, not the Confederation. Okay, pause. 45. Okay, so I read this in about 6 minutes, which is, not amazing. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. Which means I have about 6 more minutes to finish off the passage. And I'm not super stressed because I understood it. I'm also starting to realize I have not read these passages before. In fact, I don't think I even read the second and third passage now that I think about it. I'm playing like mind tricks on myself, but yeah, I just didn't read. For some reason, I read this first passage, okay? But I had not read the second, third, or fourth passages, like at all. So, except for the first passage, this whole thing is new to me. That said, going back to this, here's my summary without looking at the page. Here's my summary of what I just read. Okay, if you are doing the diagnostics that I always talk about, then you should pause this video and write and just verbalize your own summary first, and then listen to my summary afterwards to compare. This was a tough passage for me, so let's see how the summary goes. Henry James. No, it's not Henry James. Patrick Henry James. Patrick Henry is against this confederation, but not necessarily strongly against the idea per se, because he doesn't actually have reasons for that. Okay, what he has instead is two big concerns. The first is it's causing. There's a danger for him of like insurrection and whatnot, of changing the government. I guess that's referring to probably that there are a lot of people in the country who don't like this idea. Okay, so it's a very dangerous idea. I'm not sure, though, he doesn't actually say that a national government itself is bad, though. That a national government itself will cause problems, okay? Instead, all he says is, well, what's the danger with the current? What's the problem right now? Well, like, what problems are you proposing to solve with this new government that is actually making a lot of people unhappy, including me? So that's kind of the first point. And this gets alluded to at the very first sentence, but it comes actually at the bottom half of the passage. So actually, the first half of the passage is primarily focused on the rights of the framers of the Constitution. Who allows you to say we the people? Like, are you guys delegated, right, by the people to form a new government? No. In fact, it's the states from which your powers are derived. Something like that. I think the context is something like the states are the ones who requested the group to write up an amendment to the Articles of Confederation, and so the states were the ones who were expecting sort of updated Articles of Confederation, but instead what they got was a whole new proposal for a whole new government, a national government. So that is Patrick Henry. The flip side says the people definitely have. The people are more powerful or have the rights. The people are the one with the true rights, okay? And so they should be free to form a new government if they so choose. And that's all this debate is about. This debate is merely about whether we should or should not, okay? These delegates were not, these people who framed it are not making the decision. They're not doing that. It's just they're offering the idea. They are offering the idea. In fact, if this idea had come from an alien country, some sort of an alien planet, it just dropped from the sky, we still have the obligation to investigate so that the people can decide. That seems to be the thrust of the argument. And then at the bottom, there's this whole counter-argument to something that even Patrick Henry had not said, which is that people seem to be believing that the Articles of Confederation are sufficient because we went through a whole war together. And the second author says, no. The reason that we went through a whole war together was not because of the Articles of the Confederation. The reason we went through this whole war together was not. The fact that we went through this whole war together is not sufficient to prove that a confederacy is a good government. You know why we went through the whole war together? It's because we had a common enemy and we were bound together as Americans. That's why, not because of this form of government. So there was like that rebuttal to something that Patrick Henry himself didn't really. Kind of suggested that, but he didn't really fully argue. So that's my memory of the two passages. As you can tell, it's not perfect. I'm not even 100% sure of everything, right? Because that was hard for me as well. But the question is, how was your memory of the passage, okay? So if you paused, if you just diagnose your own memory of the passage, leave a comment below. What were some of the things that I noticed that you didn't notice? What are some things that you noticed that I didn't notice? And how would you rate your memory of the passage overall? Okay. I'm about to go and start time again and go through the questions. And then after the questions, I'll do a quick Q&A for anybody who is here. Nuftung, welcome to the stream. I'll see you in a bit. About to restart time. I'm at 45. So I definitely want to be done with this by 52 or so. 52 or so. Okay, because if I have 52, then that leaves me 13 minutes for the final passage. All right. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, I just zoned out. Wow, why am I zoning out? Virginia differs from the other areas of the country in that I don't remember this right now. Holy crap, I don't remember this at all. So normally I wouldn't focus too much on this. Let me just go back to this, okay, right now. We're talking about Pendleton versus Henry. Okay. Okay. Maybe A. If that's A, that's at the bottom. And if it's not right, I'm just going to move on and come back. Tranquil. Here. That is here. How do we know that this is Virginia? Holy crap. Okay, I'm just gonna move on for now. That's very rare that happens. I'm like completely lost on that one. 40, 33, 35, let's see. Figurative language, notwithstanding this, right, no landmark, to emphasize how lost they are. Uncertainty, there we go, 4720, okay. Pendleton indicates the phrase "we the people" is actually appropriate, not for, okay, "we the people" is justifiable because that's where the real states rights. Yeah, appropriate for the proposed type of government is the best answer in this case, 4740. Okay, then we're moving on. As used in line 79, issue most nearly means issue. It has been said that the Confederation carried us through to a happy result, to a happy outcome. There we go, 4755. Okay, so I'm catching up on time on a lot of these other questions. Passage 2, which statement best reflects Pendleton's view that they were not necessarily binding for us. They served to yes, cool. 4815. That's exactly what I predicted. This evidence comes at the bottom. Oh yeah, thank you. All these easy questions. It's coming at the letters no government. Not that the Confederation. Okay, this is from 79 through 83. Yeah, perfect. That's exactly what I found. 48 to 30, 48, 35, I mean. I'm stumbling. Which statement best describes the relationship between the views? Okay. James is fearful of, and Pendleton is supportive of. Yeah, they disagree with the conclusion. Conclusions is the wrong word here. He could not answer, disagreed with most of the points made by. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Conclusions are wrong, disagreed with most of the points made. Exactly, he did refute. This is actually unusual for the SAT to phrase it this way. Very atypical, but that's correct. I'm pretty sure of that. I can come back to that later. Which statement best expresses Henry's and Pendleton's respective views of the Confederation? In fact, I might want to come back to that later. I want to circle that. The respective views of the Confederation is that not necessarily flawed. He doesn't see perfect, adequate. There we go. See, Henry was like, what's the problem? What's the current danger? Okay. And transitional, we have no idea. What? The heck? Transitional? How can we know it's transitional? Where would that be coming from? So Pendleton seems that the Confederation wasn't very useful. We don't see all of these. No useful. This is extremely. So C has to be correct. I'm going to guess and move on, but I'm going to come back to this in a second. 15. Okay. I don't feel 100% on C. I feel medium on it, just mainly because of process of elimination. Henry most likely have responded to Pendleton's claim about the members of the convention by asserting that they did not have the rights. Okay, should not have. Yeah, they did not have the right to do this. Okay, they should have amended. Wow, they're going back and forth. They're switching up the organization of this. So where's the amending? It's on down here. There's 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 down here. Ought to have amended. That's 3940. 3940. Okay, we got that. So that is that, and I'm pausing really quickly. Pause. Hang on. Also, I'm having technical troubles. So that is the 10 questions. I went through it really fast. Now, I'm going to make a quick comment. Normally, on the real test, okay, I'm at 51 minutes. Oh, I didn't measure the time yet. Okay. On the real test, because I'm feeling some time pressure, because I was very slow, slower than usual on the first 3 passages, on the real test, I would actually move on to the 5th passage, and because I wasn't like, hang on, let me circle the other one. Okay, like 33, 39, and 40, I feel medium confidence on all 3 of those, I think. I don't really remember exactly my confidence level, okay? And on the real test, that's good enough, honestly. I would just move on, okay? See, in the ideal world, every single question, like I know why it's the right answer. I have high confidence. I didn't just derive the right answer through process of elimination. I actually know it has to be the right answer, right? Or I have at least strong defense for it. See, but I don't have necessarily a strong defense for these 3 answer choices. You know, I just had to kind of tactically navigate it and choose the right answer, not because it's right, but because it's not wrong. Yeah, that's kind of like how I got to those 3. Well, in the real test, I would definitely move on, and then I would just come back to this later. But because I'm streaming this and I want to finish this passage just within the constraints, I'm going to give myself up to 2 minutes, up to 53 minutes, okay? Right now, I'm at 51:05. I'm going to give myself up to 2 minutes to sort of make a couple final choices for these 3 questions. And after doing that, I'm just going to commit to doing the 5th passage in 12 minutes. This is unnatural. I would not recommend this for the real test, okay? I would definitely recommend just moving on to the next passage first, okay? But just for the purpose of the stream, I want to show you what it's like, just to try to finalize some of these questions and increase my confidence. Okay, so I'm about to restart time. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, this is about Virginia. This is about the 2 passages. And then this is about the Confederation and Pendleton thinking it's transitional. Okay. Delivered to Virginia. That's what I was looking for. I missed it. Now I'm already solid on that. Okay, that's what the here means. Virginia. Okay. And I'm trying to understand one other thing about this, okay? These gentlemen who wrote the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. Okay. They're in Virginia and they're responding to a proposal by the Constitutional Convention. So the Constitutional Convention were not given power to use their name. The people were not given power to did not give them power to use their name. The Federal Convention ought to amend it. Okay, cool. And then the transitional bit. Where's the transitional bit here? The latter is no government at all. Okay, I see. Equitable from Congress was effectual. It procured the end of our wishes. Now for what? Wait, so that's the hard part of this transitional bit, I feel like. The latter is no government at all kind of helps. Okay, I just kind of skimmed this bit here, regarded it as adequate in its current form, transitional system only. Flawed but correct is correct. No government at all. Yeah, we don't have evidence of transitional. All right, 5320. Stop. 5320. Wow. Okay. It's very tight. I now have less than 12 minutes. Okay, I have less than 12 minutes on on the fifth passage. So this will be a little stressful, but in the real test, I may actually have had to sacrifice question 40 so that I can make sure to have enough time for passage 5. So that's the kind of cost benefit sort of trade-off that you're making when you decide to stick with the passage and finish it off when it's very hard. Remember though, the strategy is you should be getting all the low-hanging fruit before you start plucking the hard ones, okay? Get all the low-hanging fruit first. So again, on this stream, I just finished off this passage, but actually in the real test, you shouldn't be doing what I just did. You should be moving on and coming back to this afterwards. Okay, now though, just for the purpose of the stream, I am still gonna keep 65 minutes, right? So I have less than 12 minutes now to finish the final passage. Whew. Was it strategic to do it that way? You can be the judge. You can be the judge. 53:22, I'm about to get started. Every second counts now, okay? So hang on, I'm gonna make this black so I don't have to. Oh no, I just realized something. I'm breaking my pattern. No. My pattern is to do Q&A after each passage, so hang on. I have to score this. Let me score this first. Okay. Pulling up the answers right now on my computer. And I am looking at questions 33 to 36. 33 to 36. I chose A, B, B, D. Here we go. A, B, B, D. Cool. Then I chose D, C, D. D, C, D. Cool. And then finally I chose A, B, C. A, B, C. Cool. Ooh, that was tight. Okay. That was a little intense for me, but yes, I had my reasoning for all of them. So I am currently a perfect, 42 out of 42 so far. Now, I just realized, right, so I went through the passage, I gave you my summary. I went through the questions, you saw me navigate it once, and then you saw me go back and review the 3 questions one more time. I basically skipped question 39 though, and 33, I figured out the Virginia from the blurb real quick. So 40, you saw my reasoning for why I did a transitional. Okay, so then what would I say for tips for reading this passage in the first place now that I've seen all the questions? Okay, the really important thing, first in this passage is to fully understand in what's called rhetorical situation in AP Lang, okay? If you're taking AP English Language and Composition, you should know this idea of the rhetorical situation. You should know what the situation is, who they're speaking to, and what they're speaking about, okay? And you should also be able to predict when you read the blurb, only the blurb, you should also be able to predict what are the 2 sides are going to be about. Having some understanding of US history is going to help. And by the way, yes, the College Board, and especially with the SAT and the AP Lang, they assume you understand some US history because you're going to go to a US college and everything. It's just part of the basic curriculum. There is a bit of knowledge that you should have about US history and US politics. Okay, so that is going to help for this. The blurb, what should you know? When you read the blurb, and you should read the blurb slowly. Just if you read the blurb slowly, everything else you can read a little faster. You should be understanding that there's Patrick Henry and Edmund Pendleton. They are in Virginia, which I totally missed. And they are responding to something that happened in Philadelphia, which I accidentally understood as their location, but that was not the right location, okay? What happened in Philadelphia was there was a convention, and this convention proposed to replace the Articles of Confederation, the previous government, with a new national government, the United States of America, what the United States of America is based on now. Okay. It should have been easier for me, but I don't know why. My history knowledge was kind of jumbled up, and it actually made it very inefficient. My reading became inefficient because I made a couple mistakes just right off the get-go, okay? I made the mistake of thinking that we were in Philadelphia for some reason, and I just couldn't match the characters right now when I was reading through the passage. So that was actually my mistake. You should learn from my mistake. That's the first really important thing to catch. The second is you really need to move from the first two paragraphs are about like how important this is and how much he respects the people at the Constitutional Conventions, the framers of the Constitution, okay? He respects them. The Constitutional Convention was when the Constitution was drafted up, and then afterwards it had to go to the states for a vote, I think. Isn't that what happened? I'm actually really bad at U.S. history now because I haven't thought about it in forever. But basically, I think that's what happened. So he's doing the typical speech thing by showing respect. Okay? But now you need to get the first transition. And the first transition, he makes a very interesting argument. And line 15, he says, who gave you the right to speak on behalf of all the people? Okay? Hang on. Who authorized them to speak the language of the people instead of the states? We are the ones who authorize you, like the Constitutional Convention, to even convene, right? You're not speaking for the people, you're speaking for the states. And we didn't give you that authority to talk about the whole people, to just create a whole new government. Okay. Then the second transition that you really need to catch was already alluded to at the very beginning, at the very first sentence, okay, is that, hey, people are actually rising up against this idea, okay? We have very angry people debating this idea right now, and we are very lost. We're lost in this ocean. Why are you causing so much trouble, okay, when your purpose that you were solely delegated, okay, was to amend the system? Basically, if I translate this to recent language, it's like, stay in your lane. We, the states, told you to fix the system. And right now, you are coming back, trying to speak on behalf of all of the people of all the colonies, all the states, I mean, all the states. And you're actually proposing to do something that we didn't even ask for. You're coming up with a whole new government. Stay in your lane. So that is the two big transitions with it. So you got to get the blurb first, then you got to get those two big transitions. And then with passage 2, the big key moments that you need to catch were, hang on, where are we? So for me, actually no, I won't get too much about me. Let me just make sure I can identify the main parts right now. You know what? The key thing about this is that he's doing almost like word for word rebuttal. He's doing almost like a formulaic debate style rebuttal. You said this, you're wrong. You said this, you're wrong there too, right? So it's like it's almost like point for point. So you just need to catch that, and I think you'll be good for passage 2. So the first point is here: an objection is made to the form, we the people, but only the people can delegate the powers. So that is basically the first point. And then the second point is, what were we sent here to do? What were we sent here to do? And we are sent here to propose, and we could propose anything we wanted. Okay. You don't need to understand all the details of this particular argument. You just need to know that he's making a direct rebuttal. And then, after you notice that this is the right rebuttal, this is the most important key. Okay, this is the most important transition. I actually wrote a triangle on this to show the transition. In the first read, he starts saying things like, the question must be between this government and the Confederation, and then he starts criticizing the Confederation. You don't have to understand every single part of it to still get everything correct. I didn't understand every single part of it to get everything, and I still got everything correct. But you didn't need to know that we're moving into a criticism of the of the Confederation by saying that it didn't really bring us together. It was actually something else was the thing that brought us together. It was the spirit of America and the common danger against the UK, against Great Britain. So this was not, this constitution, this confederation was not useful for us. And this strong statement, yeah, it would be ideal if you could understand this strong statement right away. For some reason, I didn't fully catch that in my first read, but when you are reading this the first time, if you caught on line 77, the latter is no government at all. That's a very powerful denunciation of the original government. And I guess I wasn't very sensitive to that because I was still sort of struggling with the sort of, wait, where are we right now? Like, we're in Virginia arguing about the Constitutional Convention the previous year, and I should have just known that, and it should have been absolutely clear for me what the situation was, but I wasn't when I was reading it, and that definitely garbled a lot of, like, I became very much less sensitive to some of the parts that I should have been sensitive to, okay? So here, actually, my weak knowledge of the early American history, of early U.S. history, actually did harm my reading. So I know some teachers say that you don't have to know anything, but that's not true. You should know some basic science, some basic history, and especially American history, if you want to do really well on the SAT. Okay, so that is, those are sort of my tips for this particular passage. Patrick Henry, get through those two transitions, okay? Get the blurb first, then get through those two transitions. The we the people, you don't have a right to say that, and then the whole like, stay in your lane. Then with passage 2, with Pendleton, just understand he does a line for line, point for point rebuttal, and then he criticizes the articles, not the Articles of Confederation, he criticizes the old government, the Confederation itself, of not actually doing anything. Okay, so get those two parts. And you should be able to get 10 out of 10, because I did too. I did too, even though I had to like reverse construct it in real time, even though I didn't fully have a perfect reading of it. Okay, now I'm about to go into the next passage, since there's no questions right now in the chat. Okay, I'm at 53:20. So I have I have 11 minutes and 40 seconds. That's very little time. Okay, very little time. But how am I going to keep myself calm? I'm going to breathe through my nose. I'm going to breathe slowly, and I'm just going to increase my confidence that I know exactly what the passage is talking about. Okay, which means I'm not going to rush through the passage like it's some stupid chore that I have to do to get to the real part of the test, which is the questions. No, reading and understanding the passage is just as real. It's very real to me, very important for me. So I'm going to read the passage properly. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Plant evolution, something with tangles, 2009. Let's go. Ancestors of land plants, they abandoned their aquatic nurseries for life on shore. They came on land. They need the means to seal in water, okay, and hold themselves up. Those are two different things. And lignin contributes to both, a thing that's inside woody plant cells. Okay, lignin production for those tasks was considered a key adaptive achievement of the vascular plants, which descend from algae, which don't have lignin, presumably. Now, a University of British Columbia botanist and some chemists have strong evidence for lignin in red algae called CC. I'm just going to put that next to it. The findings suggest that roots that stretch far deeper. Oh, stretch there. It's really old. It's really old. Production of other secondary metabolites like pigments. Production of other secondary things like pigments. Far back. Okay, sure. PM. We got Patrick Martone. This is the botanist. Okay. He didn't set out to locate lignin now. Okay, so this is background. He actually just wanted to understand the toughness of something else. Is this the same CC? Yeah, it's the same CC. He was trying to focus on toughness. they pummel the algae with velocities. The waves have these extreme velocities, and the rigid body seaweed has these non-calcified joints, make it flexible yet tough. When the collaborator Jose Estevez at Carnegie Institute examined the joints, cell walls which are found in land plants, that's like lignin stuff, and then they found experts in lignin. Okay. So this is all background. This is all background of how they came around to be. Pause. 54, 55, 40. Let me pause real quick. So 5540, what that actually means is I spent 2 minutes and 20 seconds just reading the passage so far, and I'm only halfway through. Am I going to start rushing? No. I'm going to keep reading at the pace that I'm reading. Right now, I'm at the pace where I'm feeling slightly nervous that I might be misunderstanding something and so what I do is I have this sort of balance, right? Like when you're on a seesaw and you put your left foot and your right foot on both sides of the seesaw, and I'm just trying to keep my balance right now where I want to feel the nervousness that I might be missing something, but I'm not so far there that I actually do miss something, okay? Because if I miss something, that might create more misunderstandings down the line. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure I'm fully understanding everything that's happening, okay? Especially because it's a little technical right now. Like we have all these characters, we have all these multiple characters that are coming in. We have the botanist. He's focusing on toughness. We recruit this other guy from Carnegie, and then we get these lignin people, right? It's a little complicated, but I just want to know. I don't need to remember every single name or anything like that, okay? That's why I'm doing the annotations. The annotations are helping me because I know, because I'm circling and I'm initialing and I'm doing all these things, I can find these effers, these mother effers. I can find these guys very quickly if I need to, okay? When I go into the questions. So I'm not scared about the details. I'm going to find the details when necessary, but I'm building my map out right now, and I'm trying to understand. I'm never going to compromise on this. Okay, here we go. So I'm at 55, 44. It took me 4 seconds to pause the time, like that's how hard this is. Talking and solving and timing is, but I'm doing it. It's inefficient, but I'm still, right now, I'm still 42 for 42 right now. So I'm 42 for 42. I'm at a perfect score. So I'm going to keep doing this. All right. I'm halfway through the passage. Let me finish this passage now. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Whew, another name. Holy crap. John Ralph detected lignin and CC. They found the same telltale. Okay. And John, hang on. What the hell? Oh, only the guy is Canadian. All the other guys are from America. Okay, I see. Lignin, they found the same telltale components, radical coupling reactions used in the terrestrial. Okay, so this is not a terrestrial plant, and yet it has lignin located samples of. And this other person, KR, wow, everyone's finding this. Okay, the amounts are much smaller much smaller. Okay, cool. Now we're finally getting to science, but it's most abundant in the parts of the sea that are most mechanically stressed. Okay. Martone is the, okay, I don't know where Martone is, but sure, where's PM, okay, Martone, first guy, that there could be some environmental stimulation that increases production of polymer. Okay, environment might cause the production. Okay, that's interesting. The puzzling thing, okay, interesting, is that it's also present in calcified portions. We have no idea. What's this calcified portions? I don't understand the calcified portions. Working hypothesis is that the molecular pathways producing emerged long before land plants evolved from it. Okay, long before, okay, land plants. Cool. Molecular evidence convinced him that both red and green algae descend from one event. When a eukaryotic cell goes to photosynthesis, gained the ability to make its own food. Okay. Another character believes it's exceptionally strong, all for us separate, but thinks that separate. Okay, so this is. So this is the hypothesis, and then this is the anti-hypothesis. Okay, this is the opposite side. Whoa, 57, stop. 57.50. Whoo, woohoo. That is intense. So right now, I spent 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the reading. 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the reading. That's actually faster than I expected. And I think the reason I'm faster is because I am not only am I understanding everything, but I'm also like, compared to the previous passage, I'm actually keeping myself balanced right now real well, okay? I'm keeping myself in that sort of optimal zone between too fast and too slow, okay? Whew, so that was actually less than 5 minutes that I read that. I'm actually a little impressed that I did that in less than 5 minutes because it was pretty technical. There's so many names coming out. All right. I'm going to do my summary. So for those of you guys who know, I tell everyone you should diagnose your reading. And how do you diagnose your reading? First, read it. Second, summarize it. Third, compare it with me. Okay, compare how good your summary is with mine. Here's my summary. Without looking at the passage. There's a PM guy, Martone. Okay, he's a botanist. Oh, sorry. So we start at the very beginning by talking about how there was this previous idea, okay? This is the knowledge thus far, okay? Our background knowledge thus far. The previous idea was that when sea plants moved to land, they started developing a need for better structure, okay? And the structure serves two purposes. I don't remember the two purposes, but they need like they need to retain water as the first purpose, and then there's a second purpose that I don't fully remember. But something about holding themselves up or something like that. Okay, one is for water, one is for something more mechanical. But there's two purposes. I don't fully remember the second one, and lignin does that. So the going common knowledge was that lignin was produced by these land plants. It was evolved by these land plants after they came onto land. But now there's new research that suggests, by this botanist and these chemists and all these people, there's this new research that suggests actually lignin went way far back, way before the land plants came on. Sorry, the sea plants came onto land. Then we get into the background, how this research came to be. First, it was this guy, PM Martone, who was just like, hey, what's up with these seaweed, man? Why are they so tough with all these intense waves? He's looking into it and then found some thing. I forget what he found, okay? But he found something. So then he contacted some guy, and this Carnegie Mellon guy was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. And so he jumped in. And then once they realized that this thing was lignin, they actually reached out to these other lignin people, I think from the States. And I think 3 more names came out after this point. Something crazy like that. And all these people were reproducing and confirming that this is actually lignin that's in this red algae. Wait, red algae or the seaweed? I don't remember. No, in the seaweed, in the CC. In the CC, there's all this lignin. And so then the hypothesis comes out after that. We're finally looking at why, how this lignin could be. The lignin is in the CC. It seems to be concentrated in the part that gets battered the most, but for some reason it's in this calcified thing, which they don't understand, and I don't understand. Okay, I don't even know what calcified really means in this context. But it's mainly where it's supposed to be, but it's also in this place where it's not supposed to be. And so the hypothesis is largely that this lignin happened at this one event a long time ago, way before the land plants. Okay, the lignin in the red algae and the green algae, which I have no idea how that connects to the CC, and so actually after reading this, I'm going to double check how the connection is. Okay, when I start time, I'll check the connection, but something with the red algae, the green algae, or something like that. There's 2 types of algae, and there's one event that give them both lignin. Okay, and then there's some other scientists who thinks amazing evidence, but different hypothesis. No, it came from 2 different events. Okay, that's my memory of the passage. Now, you might be noticing I have an extremely detailed memory of that passage. Guys, should you have that same memory? Hell yeah. Should you be able to do it in 4 minutes and 30 seconds? Okay, it might be a little tougher for you to do it within 4 minutes 30 seconds, but you should be able to do it. And I know some of you guys who are getting 750 or above, you guys already are doing it. Some of your peers are at the same level as me, okay? Because my strength is not even the science. My strength is actually the literature. So some of you strong kids, strong readers in the science areas are doing this just as well as I am. So it's not impossible for high school students to be doing the same thing as me. If anything, now that I'm getting kind of older, I feel like I'm slower than some of these high school students. I was definitely smarter when I was in my early 20s. That's when I was like crazy fast. Okay, so now that I'm older, you actually should be catching up to me. So that is the goal. I'm at 5750. You just checked your summary. Now we're going to go into the questions. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Primarily concerned with the background of how... Oh, no, you know what? I wanted to check one more thing, which is the green algae. Aha. Red algae. That's where the red and green came from. And CC is a red algae. Okay. I see. And then let me just double check this bit. Red and green algae. I see. Long before. So I see. The land plants are connected to the green algae. Okay, 5830. I did some extra reading on that one. Passage primarily concerned with how finding was indicating possible implications. Correct. I didn't predict. Sorry. I'm rushing. Okay, 5850. I just double checked all the other ones and I skipped. I eliminated them. As present in the passage, the conclusion that lignin is present in CC can best be described as the conclusion that lignin is present. Almost undeniable. Like so many evidence. Yeah, founded on evidence, thus persuasive. Correct. Conjectural, no. Okay, 5915. Let's go. I have 5 minutes and 45 seconds left. Reasonably be inferred from the passage that Martone's research interest should be considered not his original. It was accidental. Yeah. 5930. Best evidence. Middle left, right here. He didn't set out to. That's 22 to 26. Oops. Perfect. 5950. Structure of CC consists of components that... Oh, calcified and... Yeah. Change density? I don't know about density. Regenerate, operate. That seems to work. Protect the cell interior from... What? No, not exposure to seawater. So basically, I was looking for the toughness, but suppleness, I think... Okay, I need to just double check that there's multiple components because I don't remember the components, but it's right here. It's at the bottom right, or like around in this, or middle right. Parts of the seaweed that are stressed, which suggests there's some production of pollen there. Okay, this plural is the only plural I could find, but that's the plural I was looking for, so it's basically right. Operate together. I feel a little iffy about this, but I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to go with 60-45 right now. I'm going to move on. As used in line 32, handle most nearly means. Let's go. 32. Strong enough to hold up under, to survive. Sure. 61.5. Okay. Scientists who specialize in lignin were useful too because they confirmed the lignin or something like that. It was at the bottom of this. No, that's not the part. Detected. Yep. No, the toughness did not make it analyzed, but sure. That's kind of a roundabout way of asking that question, but yeah, I mean, that's right. Wow, those the wording is hella weird on that one. Yeah. Wow, that one's effed up, man. That's mean. All right, which choice provides the best evidence for the answer? Okay, that's top right. Telltale components from 45 to 48. What? 42? Hang on, what? 40? Oh, no, 42. Sorry, did I misread? No, that's not. They found the telltale. Wait, what? What? 42, 40. Okay. Oh, I don't have time, man. I'm gonna just circle D and then I'm gonna move on. I'm at 42. I'm sorry, I'm at 62.55 right now. Holy crap. Strong, 76. The evidence is very strong, very persuasive, very compelling. Impervious, 63.10. Nicholas counters Martone's proposal about the evolutionary history of red and green algae by suggesting that the major mental punishment must have been in place long before they separate. No, that sounds like the opposite. Because by suggesting that basically that there were two events, okay? But, you know, they could be similar. The two events, okay. Yeah, I think that's about right. The process by which produces might be different. The process. No, that we're not talking about comparing the processes. Okay, 63.55. I have 1 minute left. Holy crap! I am mind blown by this other one. Okay, I'm actually not super confident in the last question either, but I'm gonna try to deal with this. Change density? What the hell? Okay, no, I'm basically cool on this, okay? Okay, scientists were useful because commonly found in land plants, that prompted, okay, that question is worded weird. I don't like the fact that some unexpected measurement results, okay? Yeah. Oh my god, I feel like it's worded weird unless I just read it weird the first time, but that should be 33 to 37, I think. Okay, 33 to 37. Yeah. And that's my final choices. Whew. Wow. 65 minutes. Holy crap, dude. That was, and I didn't even get to double check question 52. All right. But you know, I'm actually still happy with my performance because the first 3 passages, I did it 2 days ago when I was extremely sleep deprived. So it took me much longer than it needed to. So the first 3 passages, extremely sleep deprived, took me 39 minutes and 40 seconds to get through the first 3 passages. The second 2 passages were not easier. They're not easier. They were just as difficult. And I still managed to get through. And I was explaining my strategy the whole time. So I think this is a really good stream. I'm really happy with this stream right now. I did it exactly 65.05. You know, I took 5 seconds extra, but if you count all the inefficiencies with the Apple Pencil and everything, come on, give me that credit for 5 seconds. I didn't even get to double check 52, so I will double check 52 right now with the red pen. Actually, red is for when I actually know the answer, so I'm going to use a green pen for after I finish time. So he counters Martone's proposal about the evolutionary history by suggesting that the two must have independently developed the lignin, the ability to produce the lignin, which has to do with the ability to photosynthesize. I'm going to double check this, okay? Because the pathway producing lignin emerged long before land plants evolved from green algae. Back to some answers shared with real algae. Some questions. So there's green, there's a red. There's green and then there's red, but there's some sort of ancestor above them. They descend from the same event when they engulfed a photosynthesis. And A was able to have this photosynthesis event. The evidence for lignin is undeniably strong, but they evolved from two separate endosymbiotic events, meaning that the ability to photosynthesize happened two different times. That's what he's talking about. So that's why, leading to the two kinds of algae might have, before they acquired the ability to photosynthesize. So that one's a hard question, but it's correct. I'm confident in that. Holy crap. That was such a mean fifth passage. Holy crap. Okay, so right now there are no questions. There's no questions in the chat. If you do have questions, please write them in so that I can respond to them. Otherwise, I'm just going to score myself and then I'll give you my tips for this passage. That is no joke. Holy crap, that passage almost screwed me. Okay, now I'm looking at the scores, the questions. By the way, I might as well use the green pen. The green pen, I actually stand by every single answer choice, but let me just to be absolutely clear, okay? The green pen means after I finish time, I'm going to double check and sort of predict the right answer with the luxury of time. Green pen means that this is actually my genuine final answer, but I was high confidence on 43, high confidence on 44 and 45 and 46, right? Because this is 23, 26, right? Right. And then 47 is kind of awkwardly medium high confidence, but yeah, I basically eliminated everything else. And the reason I'm awkward about it is we're together. Let me defend it before I look at the answers, okay? Because if I look at the answers, it becomes too easy. So wrong side. Where's the... The amounts are much smaller, but lignin is in parts of the seaweed that are most mechanically stressed, which suggests there could be some environmental stimulation. Right. This is kind of a mean question, but operate together as in there are parts that are more stressed and there are parts that are less stressed. Okay, and you can infer that. And so you are inferring, it doesn't indicate this directly, it doesn't indicate that they operate together, but there are parts that are more stressed, there are parts that are less stressed. So apparently you can infer that, where's the word suppleness? Or not word suppleness, where's the idea of the suppleness? The idea of the suppleness, I see, it's over here. The calcified has multiple non-calcified joints. Oh my God, this is the exact evidence. Holy crap. I actually didn't, I remembered, when I saw the answer choice supple, I was looking for the words flexible and strong, but I forgot which part of the passage that was from, okay? So this actually helps with question 47. Yeah. That makes it absolutely clear. And I actually didn't know this at the moment. Okay, so that's absolutely clear now. And I chose D because of the reason we're useful to because makes it sound like it's after the fact, which is why this wording is really bad. See, they should have said something modally more correct. Grammatically, they should have been more exact with it. They should have said scientists who specialized in lignin were sought out by Martone and Estevez, okay, or Or even like literally, if you just want to change the modal of that verb, you would say would be useful, right? If you only want to change the modality of the verb, then you would say would be useful to Martone and SFS because, and then at least then I know that we're looking for why Martone and SFS were looking for them in the first place. But because it says were useful to, it made me focus, like I read that wording and I was like, oh, we're definitely thinking about what they did, which then led me to look for what they did, which seemed closest to be, right? And then that's why I was looking for after 45. Okay, I was looking for after 45 because it said what they did. They were useful because they did this, right? That's what the question sounds like it's asking. This is messed up. I mean, they shouldn't. By the way, I still continue to. This doesn't overturn all of my advice about why predicting is better, but this means the SAT was being ambiguous right here. The word useful to is grammatically modally, it's not correct. So that threw me off for a loop. Now I could still catch myself because what I did was I reinterpreted, after realizing this happened, I went back to this question and I reinterpreted the question in real time and I tried to read it a different way. So I was able to save myself by doing it thanks to question 50. But that was I think a poorly written question. So yeah, if you guys got that one wrong because you interpreted the question stem wrong, you should know that that's the reason why you got it wrong, not because you didn't understand the passage. So yeah, I'm confident in this question now. By the way, B is still wrong either way because the specialist scientists, they didn't find features that were typically found in plants known to contain. Oh, B might be right. B might be right in this new context. B was wrong when I was thinking of the original interpretation. But let me just double check B. Oh, it's B. Oh man, I got that one wrong. Because I was rushing, right? No, it's B. It's definitely not D. The results did not require interpretation. It's actually, yeah, it's not even measurement results. Yeah. This is wrong. Yeah, so my final answer is actually B, after time. Yeah. Wow. That's more of a silly mistake. It was just because I was down to the last 30 seconds, so I was just I was rushing my choice there. 33, 37 continues to be the same answer, so that's still my final answer. So that's high confidence. And then 76, compelling. I'm good with that. And then yes, I already went over 52. 52, I'm cool with this. So those are my final answers. I'm going to be grading myself in red pen, not based on my black and blue, because black and blue is within time. I'm not going to be scoring myself based on my green, okay, because green is after I actually used up my time. I'll be scoring myself based on my my black and blue, okay, which is when I was timing myself. So I think I got one wrong on this test, on this passage. Let's double check. I chose A, B, D, which is 43, right? A, B, D, correct. I chose C, D, B, D. C, D, B, B. Okay, so that's -1. And then I chose C, A, C, C, A, C. So I got, how many questions is that? I got 9 out of 10. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, yeah. Got 9 out of 10, but on the green, I got 10 out of 10. Okay, and that was largely because of time management. So, if I had not been sleepy for the first 3 passages, I would certainly have had more time for the second 2 passages, and I'm pretty confident I would have gotten 52 out of 52 on the 5 passages. But I was sleepy for the first 3 passages, and yeah, that definitely harmed me for the other 2 passages. But I'm still pretty proud that I got 51 out of 52 for all of that. I made a pretty silly mistake at the very end, but I already explained that particular process. Here's my tips for reading the passage right the first time, because I actually read it pretty quickly the first time. Let me go back to the passage. So I actually gave you a really, really detailed summary of it, okay? But in my summary, I did miss the green algae, red algae stuff. And I think, honestly, realistically speaking, when there's so much information, it's okay to miss it at first, okay? I think the really important things to not miss are as follows. First, you need to understand this key idea, okay? That the green land kids, the green algae land kids, okay, have lignin, and the red algae non-land kids may also have lignin, which upsets the original conception that lignin must have come up. Like the assumption is that the lignin must have come up when they went on to land. Okay, so that's the first thing to catch in the first including the blurb and the first 2 paragraphs. Then the next thing is to figure out, hey, this Martone guy wasn't originally even thinking about lignin. He was just thinking about the toughness of these red algae. But names come along, and throughout this process, they're recruiting more and more people to confirm that it really is lignin. Okay, so you need to get that transition. Then this next transition moves to, okay, how it actually works and what the hypothesis is. So I would read all of this part together, but basically being like, hey, there's lignin. It's not a lot, but it seems like because it's in this red algae, it's in this red algae, it seems that the ability to produce lignin, which came from photosynthesis, right, was before the red algae or the green algae. It came from some ancestor. And then the final transition is someone disagrees. Okay? So as long as you have that, it's technical. You kind of have to, this dance requires many moves, okay? Other dances, you only have to get 1 or 2 transitions and you're fine. But this particular dance, you have to transition like a couple extra times, okay, to make sure you're catching everything that's happening. As long as you got all of that, you should be able to get through the questions. Oh, as long as you got all of that and you've left yourself enough time, you should be able to get through all the questions, okay? So it shouldn't be terrible for you guys. But yeah, generally speaking, you don't want to spend 39 minutes on the first 3 passages, right? You want to be spending less than 36 minutes for sure, less than 12 minutes per passage for the first 3 passages, so that you can have a little bit of breathing room for the last 2 passages. All right, that was the reading test. Now I want to take a quick 5-minute break. I see no questions in the chat right now, so no Q&A. I just want to take a quick 5-minute break to get some water, to walk around, to circulate some blood, and then I'll take the writing test and finish off this 2017 school day test today. All right, I'll take a quick 5-minute break. Oops, my keyboard shortcut's not working. There we go. All right. Oh, rough. That was rough, man. It's rough feeling that much pressure on time, which is why if you are sleepy, you should use the strategies I talked about in the last stream to sort of keep yourself on, focused and, managing your time well. But really, the real solution is just to not be sleepy in the first place by properly getting rest the day before or the days before. At least 2 days of good sleep before an important test. So I am about to get into the writing test now. If you join the stream in the middle of my in the middle of me solving, you can still ask questions. I just won't answer any of the questions until after I finish a passage. Okay, so I'll get back to the questions at the end of each of the passages. Writing will go much faster just because there's not that much to explain with the reading, like with the actual content of it. So it'll be basically just sort of zooming through it. I should also write like a little note on the side since no one's asking questions today. Any questions in the chat after each passage? Okay. All right, so wrote that note. I think we can get going. I'm looking at, I should have been charging my Apple Pencil. Let me just double check my pencil's charge status right now because it'd be awkward if 5 minutes. You know what? Give me a second. I'm just gonna charge this for like a minute, because that'll get it up to like at least like 10-15%. So that lasts for a good while. Okay, so let me give it a little bit of a charge, and while we're waiting, I'll just play some music to energize myself and field any questions that anybody has. Oh man. All right, this is all 1970s punk, but I wanna listen to stuff from college. I wanna listen to stuff from more like my college years. So, no, you know what? I want something chiller. Let's do my Polo and Pan radio station. I'm like sleepy. I've never heard this song before. This is actually really cool. I've seen these guys' names a lot because it gets recommended to me on Spotify. My randomly generated playlists, not randomly, but recommendation-based playlists. L'Imperatrice. I don't know how to pronounce French words. Hang on, what's it? This is the band right now. Okay, let me see. My Apple Pencil is charged. Good enough now. All right, let me plug my iPad back in. And we are about to get started on the writing section. All right. Let's get going. Let me set up my timer again, and we're about to get started. All right, here's my stopwatch. We're at 0, 0. Going to the writing passage. this is a writing test, and I will answer any questions that you guys ask in the chat after each passage. Here we go. I am ready. 3, 2, 1, let's go. The case for electronic health records. Oh, I have probably seen this passage before, which I don't think really matters that much on the writing, but anyway. Significant strides, implementations of systems that manage EHR, and we're talking about the case for it, so it's a positive thing. We're focusing on the positives. Medication currently prescribed, and yeah, so it's just a list A. From 2001 to 2013, the use of EHR has grown probably by office-based physician, began to decline only in the last 3 years. That's very awkward. See, we're talking about commendable progress, so I should talk about growth. Needs to make a full transition. Okay, it's partial transition. We had a partial transition. So we want to complete this with accurate and relevant information to support the claim about advancements. We want to talk about increase. Yeah, that's about right. Let me just double check. 20 to 80. Yeah, perfect. None of these, why were you emphasizing the really awkward things here? Those are all really awkward to emphasize. Yep, so we need to make a full transition. Regrettably, they require infrastructure. Oof, why regrettably? That seems awkward. Admittedly, they can be expensive to no. Look, they don't require space. They don't need to be photocopied. And they are less likely. This is good. We're good with this. No change. Less likely to be physical. So we're talking about benefits. We just need to have benefits. Okay, benefits provide many advantages. That's B. So right now, these together, I was at 155. Okay. More importantly, electronic record between different. Cool. That's 205. Healthcare providers allowing for more effective patient treatment. For example, they can learn what they can immediately begin on resulting in. That's perfect. That's 225. Okay, and I'm moving on to 7. Okay, so I'm seeing sentence ordering right now. Hey Ali, these concerns, however, are also problems. Ooh, what's weird? Okay, weird. There needs to be some weird. There's some transition here. Let me just double check. So it's asking me sentence 2 should be placed. Okay, despite. Okay, perfect. We have benefits. So it has to be before sentence 1. I already know the answer to this one. This one is 255. Okay, despite these clear benefits, they harbor concerns. There we go, harbor concerns about the potential for error and violation of privacy. Yeah, which makes sense. These concerns, however, are also problems for paper records. By no means free from errors, paper records are prone to errors resulting from illegible handwriting. In fact, they actually reduce errors by cross-referencing drug information, which provides. Let me find the which. Oh, or to provide cross-referencing drug to provide doctors with automatic warnings about possible adverse effects. Yeah, okay, yeah, that works. For some reason, I feel like that's a little awkward, but sure. 345. Oops, sorry. 345. Huh? Wait, I'm at 7, right? Okay, yeah. To provide, likewise, serious. Moreover, in fact, okay. Yeah, that's 4:15. I had to take some time to make sure that this was that this made sense. Likewise would mean two things that are similar but not the same, right? Whereas this is actually further emphasis. Number 6. Furthermore, is no more threatened by electronic identity by paper, which are, typically accessed by at least 150. Okay. So that's 440. then we skip, right? We skip down. So 11, the best way to address these concerns the best way is not to avoid, but okay, here we go. That is 455. Pause. Okay, that was the first passage of the writing test. I just went through it in less than 5 minutes, and that's usually my experience. These 4 passages I usually finish with a lot of time afterwards. I think it's just because, it's the same approach with reading. Instead of just like blindly going right into A, B, C, D, and then plugging all of them back into the passage, what I do is I just predict the answer. Okay, that saves you a lot of time. Okay, so I'm about to go into. It looks like there's no questions in the chat. Ali, welcome to the stream. Since there's no questions in the chat, I'm going to move right into this. And obviously, I have no real tips for this passage because it's not that hard to understand. The main thing that might be hard to understand is this whole thing about, you might have noticed over here, when I saw sentences 1 and then sentence 1, before I even saw sentence 2, I automatically knew that sentence 1 was wrong. Why? Because I read the damn thing. I read it, man. I read it. Look at this, man. We're talking about all these benefits. Benefits, 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 and then it suddenly says, these concerns, however, makes no sense. Okay? I am very connected to the reading experience of the writing test, which a lot of teachers say don't read it. Not sure why. Okay, if you read it, even if your writing score is perfect, you should still be practicing reading this because it will help you on the reading test too. It's actually mutually beneficial. Read the thing. Okay, 12. Looking at 12. Right, so I'm at 4:55, or actually it took me a couple seconds to stop the time. Let's get going. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Yes, and by the way, I have seen these passages before, the writing ones anyway, but like I don't remember the questions, so it actually feels pretty new to me. The beaver. Engineer of an ecosystem. That's cool. An ecosystem is a complex web of interactions between organisms. Each component, is vital to the sustainability of the others and to the system as a whole. Oh, I'm kind of confused by the ordering of this, but sure. And no problem with the wording here. Interpersonal relationship. Personal is kind of interdependent. Yeah. Because that definitely works with sustainability as a whole. New efforts to cultivate reflect the growing recognition. Felled trees. Oh, this is awkward. This should be before. What? Oh, these should be together, but then this should be after. All right. 4 should be after sentence 6. See, this is the example. We need the example. Then we have them felling trees and then creating forms, which forms a dam. And then even though they might be, they actually confirm that they're providing benefits. So then as a result, there's new efforts to cultivate. Right. So that's the result. These efforts have called I don't know why I'm taking so long on this. I'm like kind of zoning out a little. All right, 15. Scientists have called the beaver an ecosystem engineer because its dams can alter the makeup of its habitat by regulating water flow in streams, dams, that's 7:15. Have ripple effects that radiate to all organisms. The ponds that form ripple effects. What provides ripple effects? Dams have ripple effects. Okay, dams have ripple effects. The ponds that form as a result of dams can retain nutrient sediment. So that's a great transition. I don't want to add a sentence. Oh my God, no. No, we don't need to talk about the lifespan. It's off topic. Yeah. So the ponds that form as a result of damage retain nutrient-rich sediment. Fostering, yeah, that's perfectly fine. Fostering a variety, like it encourages a variety of plant life. Attracted by these resources, these kinds of wildlife inhabit, plural, inhabit beaver ponds. Cool. So right now we're at 805. Recent studies suggest that beaver dams not only create diversity populations, but also preserve. So they create and preserve. That's cool. That makes sense. Not only, but also. A landmark 2008 study by ecologists found that the president might mitigate the effects of drought. Okay, because this is environmental stress, drought. Observed the ponds had developed, held more water, right? Furthermore, a group of ponds that had not been recolonized showed, if they have beavers, showed a smaller increase in area of open water over the same period. That sounds like it makes some sense. Either a decline or smaller increase. What's the question right now? Figures 1 and 2. Okay, so the thing that we have to understand right now is that we're in a park, okay, and this one I'm kind of remembering the question right now, just to be totally transparent. We're in this park, and there's active beaver colonies and then non-recolonized. So these are recolonized, and these are when their beavers are absent, and then these are not recolonized. Oh, I see. So at first they were not, they were absent, but then they recolonized, and so the water goes up. Park ponds not recolonized. The water still goes up, but just not as much. So that's the correct answer. Smaller increase. Okay. Which means that actually, even though the beavers don't directly occupy those ponds, it still increases thanks to the beavers occupying like the other ponds nearby. That's interesting. It's a little difficult logic, but yeah, it makes sense. So this is 10:15. Wow. Took me 2 minutes for those 2 questions. In addition to studying wildlife, researchers are collaborating. Studying wildlife? It's kind of broad. What were we just talking about? We're talking about how the beavers studying how they helped the environment. Spurred by these findings. Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, spurred by these findings. Yeah, there's no opportunity beforehand. Before that, this is all finding. They're finding that beavers actually help preserve. Cool, yeah. They create and preserve benefits. Yeah, motivated by the findings. Collaborating with local officials has been working with to introduce. Yeah. Through such initiatives are doing what they do best. Engineering health. Yeah, and that is 11:25. Okay, pause. All right, so I'm seeing no questions right now, so I can move on to the next passage. If I say anything about this particular passage, oh, hang on. I just realized I'm not even scoring myself on each passage. I'm breaking my rhythm. Yeah, let me actually score. Let me return to my usual rhythm, which is one passage and then I score it, and then give commentary on it. So before I do that, I want to do a green pen double check on anything that was kind of awkward. I was kind of awkward on 14, so I just want to double check this. Right. So in sentence 3, we talk about they're one of the best examples. Sentence 5 and 6 talks about their dams, and then talks about how they're beneficial. And then sentence 4 says new efforts to cultivate beaver populations reflect a growing recognition of the vital role beaver dams play. Right. And the new efforts collides with beaver being a good example. It's kind of, honestly, it's still an awkward thing, but it's better to get out of the way. When we say beavers, large rodents that use to build dams and streams, are perhaps one of the best examples of the interdependent relationship, then we should go into the interdependent relationship. That's 5 and 6. And then sentence 4 says, new efforts to cultivate beaver populations reflect a growing recognition of this idea we were just talking about, of the vital role that they play overall. And this connects to the overall main idea of everything. So it should be the last sentence of this first paragraph. Okay, so let's go through the answers, starting over here, because I actually forgot to do it for this one. Question 1. I chose A. Cool. 2 is C. Cool. B-A. Cool. And then B-D, C-B-D. B-D, C-B-D. Cool. So that's 11 out of 11. And I already gave my tips about it. My main tip was, what was it? Oh, right. My main tip was read. So I already talked about that earlier when I finished that passage. Now I'm going to score the next questions. 12 through 15. I chose A, B, D, C. Cool. I chose C-A-B, cool. A-A, cool. C-C, cool. 11 out of 11. All right, moving on to the third passage. I'm at 11:30 now. Let's get started. 3, 2, 1, let's go. The Giant, Michelangelo's Victory. This must be a painting. Oh, it's a sculpture. I kind of remember. Toward the end of the 1400s, as the Renaissance was reaching its height, that's correct, members of the city's wool guild were celebrating their cathedral. This cathedral was a triumph that added to its reputation for sophistication and beauty. You have a reputation for things. Yet the guild members were eager to fancy it up, to embellish the reputation even more, to increase its splendor. That's 12:10. Okay. They wanted a series of statues to adorn the exterior, placed high on buttresses, because they want the series placed. Okay, they don't want the series placing. Placed high on buttresses so that the art could be admired from afar. The first result brought great acclaim, though not in the way they ended. Okay, so we're at 12:40. Actually, this is probably more like 12:30, but then, yeah, I had to just finish that sentence. Cool. 12:50. Guild members began the project by commissioning a statue of David, a hero. Sure. Hang on, I'm losing track. The first result, okay, it was a surprise. It was good, but it was surprising. A statue of David. This is called the Giant, I guess. The sculptor chosen was Michelangelo. He had a great reputation. The Giant. He was to use an enormous block of marble, and this block had many problems. Oh, the Giant is not the sculpture, it's the block. It had been quarried more than 40 years old. It's old and had started to weather. It was getting crappy. Even worse, who's they? It had been previously used, chipping away material to rough out a basic shape, but giving a what? There needs to be a subject. What's the subject? Oh, okay. Other sculptors had previously used it, chipping away. Okay, but giving. Okay. So it's like he's using garbage, someone else's garbage right now. So that's 1355. And then the marble came from a place almost. That seems like it should be deleted. It's out of. We're talking about even worse right now. So he was trying to sculpt a statue that was ruined. Exactly. So we want to be deleting it, right? Because why it had not already? No, irrelevant. Irrelevant is very frequently the correct answer, by the way, guys. Very frequently. Okay, detracting from the focus, very frequently the right answer. Let's move on. His 17-foot high. Hang on. What? That's such a strange transition. See, he solved the problem. That makes sense. No, wait. That's still kind of awkward. Okay, his 70-foot high entry. Why is this? Okay, I'm kind of confused by this. Okay, so I'm gonna put the question mark there. He solved the problem with the awkward shape and size of the marble up, as if ready to burst into action. But he took on the giant. Okay, I feel like this should be at the beginning. Okay, this should be at the beginning. What the heck? All right, I'm a little overwhelmed here. Sentence 3, good. Before sentence 1. All right, let's start there. Let me just figure this out for a second. But Michelangelo took on the giant with zeal and finished the statue in just 2 years. His thing depicts David in the act of confronting Goliath. He solved the problem with awkward size and shape. The form and posture echoed the proportions. Okay, so 2 and 4 together? Right. Yeah, I feel like this all works. Okay, 2 and 4, but it's has reflected. So I'm going to actually answer 29 right now. Okay, so this is 1550. Renaissance symbolism had overcome the limitations and more returned to yes. Okay, so we're good. Why would sentence 1 even be there? It's very weird. But it's such a strange transition. It's not good. So he was faced with this very big challenge, but he took on the giant with zeal and finished it in 2 years. It depicts this thing. He had solved the problem, the awkward thing, but doing this and this and this. Okay, cool. I'm good with this. Wow, that took me too much time. But for writing, that's the thing, right? Oftentimes, most of these questions, they don't really use your brain that much, but I just don't want to make mistakes. I don't want to make silly mistakes. I'm willing to just spend a little extra time. Upon viewing this stunning statue, they discarded the plan to post it to the exterior buttress. It was far too beautiful, so it's beyond their expectation, and was unlike... What? That's... Beautiful is... Oh, yeah. I remember this question, actually. So this is me cheating a little bit. But it was far too beautiful to be placed high above its view. And we're talking about a second reason and support for the main idea of this paragraph. So what's the main idea of this paragraph? Keep reading. After meeting with city officials... and prominent citizens, they agreed that it should stand outside the town hall, not on their church. Remember, I read the first paragraph, so I know what we're talking about. It's not going to be on their church. Originally, they wanted to make this cathedral, okay, something placed high on the buttresses of the cathedral, okay, to admire the cathedral. But they were like, no, this is too beautiful. And look at the second reason. The second reason for putting it not on top of the cathedral but at the town hall. What's the second reason? Far too heavy. That's D. Okay? It was far too beautiful and far too heavy to place high above its viewers. And it's in parentheses because it's kind of like a more realistic reason. And so the members agreed that the statue should instead stand outside of the town hall as a symbol of the strength. Thus, the members achieved 1830, achieved their goal of enhancing prestige, which is good. Summarizes main ideas. Okay, hang on. What's the main idea then? Achieve the goal of enhancing the prestige. Wait, what's the original goal? I thought wasn't prestige the main goal? Yeah, increasing their... Okay, well, I just focus on prestige. And Michelangelo Oh, I guess that's also kind of relevant. No. Right, because remember the title? The title is about the giant. Yeah. Gold, that's ridiculous, this gold thing. Okay, 1925. Pause. Okay. I'm confident in all those answer choices, so I'm just going to double check without any further explanation. But this one's a little harder, so I do think I should share some tips about how to read this for this particular one, okay? Because I know a lot of kids get screwed on some of these questions because I've seen this before. So I'll tell you what I think. It's fun. It's funny though. It's actually crazy that maybe it's because I haven't seen this in like a year. Last time I saw this was probably like summer, but I actually don't necessarily remember the passage. Okay, some of the hard questions I have to like explain to multiple kids I remember, but I still don't really remember the passage. So I don't know. I am still kind of cheating on this one because I have seen these writing passages before. I'd only seen the first reading passage and I saw all the writing passages before. So just FYI, but it actually still feels very much like I'm taking the test to me. All right, let's go through this. Oh, so right, questions. The answers are over here. I chose A, B, C, D, cool. And then over here, B, C, cool. And then over here, oops, BBD, cool. And then CA, cool. That's 11 out of 11, 33 out of 33. All right, so that's that. What are my tips for this particular passage? Like reputation 4, guys, if you are gonna get reputation 4 wrong, what you need to do right now is you should learn which prepositions are common against those words. And how do you find that out? Do you find that out by looking up the word for? No. Okay, look up the word reputation and just learn it the hard way. Here, I'll show it to you right now. Let me open up a window. Okay, I've shown this kind of video multiple times, but vocabulary.com, reputation. Can you guys already predict what I'm about to do? Do you guys know what I'm about to do? I'm about to find the word in its context. Okay, so vocabulary.com oftentimes uses the word in a sort of usable way. Explains the word in the way that it's used, right? And then it gives the usual typical dictionary definition, okay? So before it gives a dictionary definition, it actually kind of explains the word for you, which I think is very useful. But then you can start looking at example sentences over here. He had a reputation for. It's hard to build a reputation on. Oh, hey, hang on, but does that mean reputation on is a common phrase? No, it's not, because on is for on your own, which is a phrase by itself. Learn these phrases by learning how they're used. And how do you learn how they're used? By just waiting for somebody to say it out loud sometime? No, go to use the freaking dictionary. Too many of you guys do what I'm about to do right now. Define reputation. And this is all you do. You think that Google Dictionary is perfect for you. It's because it's so fast. No, it's not perfect for you. You're losing. If you're going to spend 5 seconds to learn a word, you might as well spend 30 seconds to learn more usages of the word instead of just looking at this definition and giving yourself the false belief that you understand the word. You don't understand the word if you just look up the definition. You only understand the word once you know how to use it 10 different times in 10 different ways. So, look up the actual examples of it, okay? He had reputations for, does have a reputation in this area, which also makes sense, okay? But you can never have a reputation. It doesn't make sense to have a reputation from sophistication and beauty are not giving me my reputation. That doesn't make sense, okay? It's what kind of reputation do I have? It's a reputation for this. So yeah, use the dictionary. Learn to use the dictionary. Don't be lazy. Do it the hard way. Go to the dictionary. Make a habit of going to vocabulary.com or merriam-webster.com. Since you're doing like an American test, you might as well use American dictionaries. Okay? Use the Omnibox, okay, to look it up. Like Merriam-Webster reputation. Okay? Lots of examples. Okay? The word as, to earn a reputation as a certain type of person, that also works. Okay, look up these examples. All right, now I'm going back to the iPad. Here we go. Some other tips for this one. So I had a hard time with this, right? I had a hard time with this. You know why? Because sentence one is awkwardly positioned, and it kind of breaks the flow. Like if I were to really write this on my, like if I were really writing this, okay, I would say something like this. Okay, so let me actually read it out loud to you in the way that it would sound. Michelangelo, I'm reading the final sentence here. Michelangelo was faced with trying to sculpt a monumental statue to bolster the reputation of Florence. That's a very big task, out of a piece of shit stone. Sorry, I'm trying not to curse, but out of a really crappy piece of stone. Wow, amazing. How will he come out of this story? Then what is the next sentence you say? Well, but, look at sentence 3, but he took on the giant with zeal, and he finished the statue in 2 years. So what's the question in my head? How did he do it? How did he do it? I would say, sentence 2, he had solved the problem of the awkward size and shape of the marble block. See, that's the most natural next sentence after that, because we're still focusing on what the challenge is by positioning David. Hang on. Let me just double check that didn't David come out before? Yeah, it already came out over here. We already know who David is. Yeah, this is super unnecessary. I feel like this actually was actually when they wrote it as a question of add and delete, and it's like, should this sentence be added or deleted? It's kind of like what they did, but then they realized it was kind of an awkward add or delete sentence, and so they got rid of the question. That's how it feels, because it's very awkward, because this was already introduced before. But anyway, moving on. Took on the giant with zeal, finished the statue in 2 years, then he solved the problem of the awkward shape by positioning David turned slightly sideways with his weight shifted onto one leg, poised as if ready to burst into action. Cool. That's amazing. Say that. And then we're talking about the end result now. The statue's form and posture echoed the proportions of classical Roman sculpture, but had to express this level of detail of Renaissance sensibilities. Okay. And then, if I really want to use sentence 1, I would do it something like this. In his intricately detailed, I'm trying to combine sentences 1 and 5 together. See, I will get rid of this part because we already know this part. Okay, so I would just say something like, but its expressiveness and level of detail reflected Renaissance sensibilities. His 7-foot-high, intricately detailed, in making his 17-foot-high, intricately detailed David, Michelangelo had overcome the limitations of the marble block and moreover had turned it into a technical and artistic masterpiece, is the way I would have said it. But I had a lot of trouble because that sentence number 1 breaks so much flow. And guess what? This is not the only time the SAT does this, College Board does this. For some reason, I really wish the College Board wouldn't do this, but for some reason, it's an ongoing pattern that I've seen on the writing test where you're not choosing between less good and really good. You're actually choosing between really bad and less bad. So I wish the SAT wouldn't do that because it actually makes it harder for you guys. But this is the kind of card that you will be dealt, so be ready for it. So how do you know for sure that 3 has to be at the beginning of the sentence? Because what was the whole focus of the previous paragraph? Remember that, okay? That's my biggest tip for this one. Okay, let's go into the final passage. I am at 1930, right? I'm sharing with you my time, even though it's honestly, time is not really a major constraint for the writing, but helps you, if it helps you to benchmark yourself, like compare your timing to my timing and stuff like that. Also notice which passages do I take more time on, less time on. If that information helps you, I'm happy to do this. So I'm gonna keep doing it. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Final passage. The 21st century has presented both unique challenges. Oh, hang on. Sharing for success. That's kind of an interesting title. Let's see. Very broad. I feel like that's not the right answer. Creative solution. Job sharing. Okay, colon. This is 1955. Okay. I guess this makes sense. Unique challenges because of the work-life balance, but innovative solutions. But it still feels very iffy. Work-related issues. But also, I just realized something. I'm kind of just jumping here, but 2 face the same dilemma. 2030. Yeah. The best introduction to the because we're suddenly, the reason is because the introduction of these 2 people is completely out of nowhere, so we need to introduce them directly. Yeah. Okay, moving on. 36. As the demand for flexible working options has grown, job sharing dash dash, okay, over here, dash dash, that's 2105, has become more common. So notice this is the anecdotal start, then this is the topic, and then this is the general background, okay, which is the SAT is going to do this for you. It's going to do unconventional beginnings to see if you can be flexible with your thinking. For employees, it provides an appealing alternative to other forms of part-time work. For Levine and Rocco, who were compensated 8%, job sharing was a way to without having to work the long hours. Yeah, perfect. 2140. Effective communication is crucial to, so this is talking about the how-to now. It's crucial to the success of job sharing. In determining, so we have to have Levine and Rocco as a subject, took steps, okay. In doing this, they did what? They took steps to ensure that there was fluidity and consistency. It's our job to be seamless, right? So they plan to work 3 days a week with a day of overlap on Wednesdays. So, for example, to this end, there we go. To this end, that's good. I was finding it hard to predict that one. Yeah, to this end, as in to the end of becoming. So, end means goal, right? For this purpose, to this end, to become seamless, or to make this arrangement seamless, they plan to work 3 days with 1 day of overlap. The job shared by Levine and Rocco. It's funny too. I don't know why they didn't make the joke about the Julie being the same name. In 2007, 2 highly successful full-time engineers at a U.S. car company faced the same dilemma as well as the same name. They should have made that joke. It's such an easy joke to make. Anyway, 40. That's just me making a random side comment. This is not relevant for the SAT. Don't worry about that. 40, which choice best sets up the information that follows in the next part of the sentence? I'm actually losing track because I went back to make that joke. They also plan to talk on the phone each evening. This is irrelevant. When you have to analyze your day and share with another brain, you show up the next day ready to run. Studies have confirmed that job quality by encouraging teamwork. Exactly. So this is supposed to talk about benefit. Which choice best sets up the information that follows? This has turned out to be very productive. No, not doubts. No. Enhance their product. Yeah, there we go. Collaboration. Enhance. More than 70% felt that communicating with their partners improved their ability to, exactly, that's something that's also definitely true. Also in the SAT, I'll pause time because this is literally a completely unrelated idea, but on the SAT, I keep telling you guys to tell other people how you got your answer, okay? Don't just ask the teacher how the teacher gets the answer, or don't just ask Reddit or whatever what the answer is. You try to explain why you chose what you chose, even if you're not 100% sure why. Just try. By doing it, you're gonna be smarter. You will be. Okay, it's the same science that's over here. By forcing yourself to communicate what you're doing, you actually become a smarter person about what you're doing. So that's just my side comment on this, just because it's so relevant to the SAT. All right, I'm gonna keep time. Right now, I'm at 24:10. Go. 41, which choice best sets up the main, oh, hang on. More than 70% felt the community see their jobs. Right. Challenges, however, which is fine. It's kind of casual sounding, but it's fine. If job shares have incompatible capabilities or unable to communicate, it may not be successful. Involves some extra cost. Challenges, limitations, I don't know. I'm a little iffy on that word challenges, but let me come back to that question in a second. No, let me see. Oh, see, this could be right. This could be right. That's probably more accurate. Let me just double check. I'm gonna choose this for now and then come back to it in a second. Okay? Because I don't want to keep juggling multiple things. You have mismatched, okay, incompatible, or unable to communicate. Job sharing may also involve costs, and salaries for two is still higher than for a single, than for. Since the salaries and the cost of benefits, so that's plural, then those four, okay? Okay, that's a difficult comparison one. However, proponents contend that the investment is worthwhile because it enables job sharing provides that the investment is worthwhile because it enables company. Huh. The reason I'm stuck is because this isn't a perfect contrast to C over here. It's not a perfect contrast, but A and though is pretty awkward, but job sharing may present some challenges though. If they are unable to communicate effectively, might be more successful, may also. You know, A is a better contrast to, because the whole idea of only some positions, that doesn't really come out at all. Also, this may modality is also very useful, this may modality over here. So that one's a little iffy actually. Hang on, what happened? It's a little, I'm gonna go with 41. I'm gonna go with 41. That's kind of iffy. I actually don't remember that question. The reason why I'm hesitant on 41 though is because of that word though. It's a little more casual than the rest of this essay, this passage. But yeah, but I'm gonna go because of the logical opposition of this. Still, only some jobs are suitable for job sharing. When you say that, then you should say, however, for the jobs where it works, for the positions where job sharing is suitable, ... right? That's the way it should be opposed if you say that. So that's the biggest reason. why I'm not choosing C. Kind of iffy. All right, now I'm finished at 28:10. All right, let's go over. I see no questions right now in the chat, so I'm just going to score this, and then I'll give you my tips for this particular passage, and that'll be the end of the stream. Okay, where are we right now? Over here. CDB is correct. CCB is correct. All right, here we go. The moment of truth. I chose DAD. DAD, correct. Dude, that was a little intense. CD, correct. All right, 11 out of 11. All right, so on this test, I got 51 out of 52 on the reading and 44 out of 44 on the writing. On this particular passage, what tips can I give you? Question 34, with question 34, just know that when you introduce both Julie Levine and Julie Rocco, this word both, these two people, right? You should definitely be sensitive to like that randomness of the transition, work-related issues, like super broad, okay? And then go straight to Julie Levine and Julie Rocco with no introduction to who they are and no explanation afterwards, okay? That's a bad transition. So yeah, A is a little tempting on 34 because it's kind of topically relevant, right? But is that a good transition? No. And then over here, let me see what else was there. Yeah, and 41 I already explained my whole thing about that. So just go back to the end of that. If you're watching this stream like later on, go back to the end of that. My questions, okay, my timed questions, and listen to my reasoning there. But basically, it's because of the contrast with what happens later on in that paragraph, okay, at this sentence, this however sentence, okay. So pay attention to the structure of the paragraph when you do these things. Yes, these actually reading the passage and understanding how the sentences and paragraphs are structured together. That's really important if you're trying to get a perfect score on the writing, okay. If you're not trying to get a perfect score on the writing, if you only want like a 650 or maybe even up to maybe, depends on how strong your reading is, but if you want only up to like a 700 on the reading and writing, then you don't have to read every single paragraph on the writing. You don't have to, but basically, why wouldn't you? You're gonna end up with a little bit of extra time anyway. Why not just read the whole thing? Because especially in the lead up to the real test, by practicing the writing and reading it all, that will actually help you with the reading as well. Okay. And then, no other particular tips for this passage. Okay, so going back to the chats now. Dark Galaxy, what's up? What do you think is the best source to improve reading and writing? That's kind of a broad question. I'm not sure what you mean exactly, but for writing, the Erica Meltzer book is a very commonly recommended book, and I've used it before, and it's pretty solid. I think it's pretty solid. I obviously, if I teach it, I wouldn't teach it the exact same way, but I actually prefer when people get tutoring I'm primarily a reading teacher, but when people get tutoring with me with writing, I actually prefer if they've already taken the Erica Meltzer book so that I don't have to go through all the basics. So the Erica Meltzer book is really solid. Oh, whoa. Sorry, my throat is really dry. For reading, there's no real good book as far as I know. For reading, there's no real good book for reading. The best thing to do is to diagnose your weaknesses, understand your weaknesses, and then work on them slowly. And the best way to diagnose it, I actually shared earlier today in a very, very long comment. I'll actually share this comment with you right now. Let me open. Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. I have to pull it open. Give me a sec. Comments, channel comments here, right? Okay. So the ones that I replied to, okay, so over here, I'll actually share the link with you, okay? All right, I'm gonna share the link right here, okay? But I wrote my most thorough response to this question so far. Dark Galaxy, I see your second question. I'll answer that in a second as well. Okay, but this is my recommendation for how to actually improve the reading. Basically, I don't really know of a good book for reading. So that's this first part right here. Okay? But Khan Academy is pretty commonly recommended. So you might as well go to the Khan Academy if you've never done it. But the main problem with all of these reading materials, the reading test prep materials, is they don't focus on how to improve reading, right? All the grammar stuff, they focus on how to improve your grammar. All the math stuff, they focus on how to improve your math. For the reading, all they do is tell you the types of questions there are, and then like what their stupid little tips and tricks are. They don't focus on actually improving. Like, of course there's tips and tricks for math, and of course there's tips and tricks for writing, and of course there's tips and tricks for reading, right? Of course there's tips and tricks for process elimination, blah, blah, blah. But how come reading is the only one where they don't actually teach you to read? And I think that's because no one knows how to teach reading, except me. I'm the only person on this whole planet that knows how to teach reading. I'm kidding. But it seems like I'm the only one who's taking it seriously. I don't know why. I'm not sure why, but because I think it's not that crazy to teach reading. And here's my basic principle on learning to read. You should learn to read the same way that you learn to play golf, the same way that you learn to bat at baseball, the same way that you learn to dribble a ball in basketball, the same way that you learn to game on League of Legends, right? The same way that you're doing any other skill, you should learn to read reading that same way. It's a skill-based skill. It's a skill-based knowledge acquisition. You're not learning knowledge about the world. You're learning the knowledge of how to do something. So how do you do that? Do you do reading by do you do golfing by having other people hit the ball for you and then explain what's going to happen? Like, oh yeah, if I hit the ball this way, we're using this club, then the wind is going to do this and the spin is going to do this, and then you're just going to listen to the motherfucker, you're going to listen to the guy just tell you how the golfing works? No! You're going to actually do it. You're going to actually hit the ball yourself, and then as you're doing it, you're going to have somebody basically give you feedback on exactly what you're doing. That's the way reading works. That's the way golf works. That's the way any skill-based knowledge works. You have to see what someone else do it, and you have to try to do it yourself. And then you need to keep iterating. You need to keep practicing it the way you would build up any other skill. And here's my explanation of the first step. The first step is to learn to see your own weaknesses. Okay? Identify your weaknesses using these 3 diagnostics that I wrote over here. You can read the long version of it, but my short version right now, I'll summarize it for you verbally. First, diagnose how well you diagnose how well you even remember the passage. Okay? Starting the last couple weeks, whenever I would stream a reading test, I would always stop after the passage and then I would summarize entirely in its entirety the passage as far as I could remember. Okay, you should do the same thing. When you read a passage, stop and summarize it verbally out loud, and then listen to my summary and compare. Okay. Second thing is you should diagnose your predictions of the answers, okay? This is before you even read the answer choices. When you read a question stem, just read the question stem until the blank, and then at that blank, try to fill in that blank with your own words, okay? If you need to, go back and read the passage again to figure out what your prediction will be, and then come back to that blank and then supply your own prediction. Once you do that, look at my stream, and then compare your prediction with my prediction. Okay? if your prediction was pretty similar to my prediction, we're good. If your prediction is really far off, not good, because I did the same thing without even looking at the answer choices. I didn't look at the answer choices when I made those predictions. You should be able to do the same thing. Okay? Just like how when your golf teacher can like hit that ball or whatever, you should be able to do the same thing. There's no one's going to their golf teacher being like, oh, but you're so much better than me, I can't be you. The whole point of you going to your golf teacher is to be as good as your golf teacher. That's the reason, right? So you should be as good as me when you're doing this. Now, obviously it might take some time, but you should be aiming for it. And number 3, when you're diagnosing your confidence in your answer choices, so diagnose your confidence. Okay, this is even before you look at the answer. Diagnose your confidence. A lot of kids are really terrible at even knowing what's in their mind, in their heart, in their heart and mind. Okay, first you have to start becoming aware of it. When you make an answer choice, A, B, C, D, don't just leave with this sort of awkward feeling. It's like, I'm not happy. Don't be like that. Actually decide how confident you are in that one specific question. It's like, I made this prediction. I had to choose something that wasn't quite the same as my prediction, but I see the evidence for it, so my confidence is high, and then move on. Or my confidence is still medium because it feels a little incomplete. Or it's low, like I'm kind of just grasping right now, right? But actually mark the confidence level and then compare your confidence level to how confident it seems that I am when you watch my stream. And then you can be able to compare. And then you can start seeing where your real issues are, okay? Most kids, their real issue is they don't even understand the passage like well enough to get the questions right. But like weirdly, okay, the whole messed up thing with this whole industry is everybody's all focused on only the third part. It's like, oh, did you get the question right? That's all they focus on. So diagnose all 3 of these. How good you're reading, how good you're predicting, and how good are you at selecting the answer choice that makes you feel confident. Okay? Diagnose all 3 of them, and then once you have some data on how well you're doing on those 3, then we can talk more specific details. Now, let's go to your final question. Your final question was, if you're not too great at reading, would it be better to try and get a good score on the writing? Yes. Okay? Use the writing, but also don't stop practicing the reading, okay? But use the writing as like your Trojan horse into reading. Because especially like you know how the writing kind of divides into sort of the grammatical sounding questions and then the sort of more reading sounding questions? Those reading sounding questions actually do help with your genuine reading ability. They do. Except for, I don't know if you saw earlier in the stream when I was basically complaining about this one question. Let me actually show it to you on my iPad. I was complaining about, was it on the 4th passage? No. Oh yeah, I was complaining about this paragraph. Okay, every once in a while, the College Board will have you choose between 2 paragraph sequences or sentence sequences where even the right answer isn't amazing. It's actually kind of awkward, right? So you're just choosing between really bad and not bad, right? Instead, I really wish the College Board would make you choose between bad and good or less good and really good, right? I really wish the outcome of all of these answer choices should come out to being a really good essay, right? So excluding the sort of occasional times when the College Board gives you a sort of like less bad option, okay, like this one, where even the right answer is a little awkward. Almost all College Board at writing questions still result in good writing. And by understanding good writing, it actually helps you predict the reading passages as well. Like you start understanding how the sentences kind of sequence, and so you can kind of imagine what's about to come out in the next paragraph because you're good at the writing part. Okay, so they do help each other. Not dramatically, just by improving I know a lot of kids who have perfect writing scores but really bad reading scores, but it does help as a stepping stone if you force yourself to read the writing passages from start to end and you keep building up your reading muscles that way, okay? If you skip all the reading in the writing passages, then you will not be able to build up your reading muscles, and so your writing will not help with your reading. So My general tip is yes, focus on improving your writing first, but don't take the easy way. Actually read the whole thing and try to get a perfect score on the writing. Okay? Actually read the whole thing. And by actually reading the whole thing, you're going to be building this like little Trojan horse that you can send into the reading, and you'll be developing the muscles that you need for the reading anyway. Okay, so that's my general advice over there. And let me know if you've heard other types of advice, and I can give you my reaction to that advice as well. Okay, but for now, if I assume you might be joining my stream sometime again in the future, because I'll be streaming office hours every morning or afternoon, and then SAT streams every afternoon, evening. So if I see you again, and if you've done some of these diagnostics between now and then, share with me what your progress was, what you learned, and what has changed with your test taking. And then I might be able to give you more additional feedback after that. All right. Yeah, read. People say don't read the questions. I don't say. I don't know why everyone says read the questions first. I think it's a waste of time. If you have a lot of time, you can go and watch my Khan Academy walkthrough, where I think I did like 5 or 6 days of me just streaming all of Khan Academy on the EBRW. I did all of the Khan Academy units on the reading, and then all the Khan Academy units on the writing. It was actually kind of boring for me, but I talked a lot about why you should just read the passage first. And yeah, my short answer right now is it's basically a waste of time, in my experience. Now, for you, it's hard to just trust some random stranger on the internet, so what I would say is just try it. Try it both ways. Like, test it. Oh, when I do it this way, do I feel more confident? Do I feel more clear-headed? Do I feel like more comfortable? And so does that make me more able to like choose the right choice, choose the answer choices, and still feel really confident, so I can move on and not waste time? Okay, test both ways and see what feels better for you. A lot of times kids spend too much time reading, so that's a whole other problem. But those are tweaks that you have to make along the way. Okay, I do have to go. I have only 2 hours before my next appointment. I need to fit in some dinner and some other things. So that'll be the last question for today's stream. Here's my plan for the future. I'll be doing another 2017 test. I'll be doing another 2017 test very soon. I'm trying to stream every day, especially Tuesday through Friday. Maybe even Tuesday through Saturday. Mondays are my off day. Mondays are my off days. So I want to take a proper rest. This week I tried to stream on Monday, and I ruined the whole week by just being like so burnt out. So Tuesdays to Fridays, I'm going to be trying to like stream every day, at least twice, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. And besides that, I'm always in Discord, so you can join the Discord and ask questions that you have whenever you have them, if you do join. So those are some ways that you can stay connected with me. I will be taking the May SAT in like a couple weeks with everybody else, so I'll be sharing my score on the May SAT as well. All right, guys. Thanks for joining the journey. I know the studying can get really tough, but the really big thing to keep in mind is that if you're just growing a little by little every day, your outcomes will follow. Okay? Incremental change produces incredible results. Believe in the process, trust the process, and keep putting the work in little by little to change in a positive way, little by little every day. Okay. Good luck out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one.